why aren't you married yet? Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and any available women out there. That's the question asked me by my parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and even my dentist. It's almost as if they're asking me, Harry, what's wrong with you? Well, you know, in some cultures, you're not considered responsible until you've been married and have kids. It's not like I haven't tried. You know, I've asked plenty of women out, and I've tried these non-traditional ways, such as blind dating, speed dating, online dating. And there have been many discussions about these methods and the connections that they produce. But I'm going to talk about the disconnections in my experiences. And I'll explain why I'll need Orlando's help. So it started with my conversation with my cousin, Minnie Metwell. And so I proceeded to describe details of a perfect match to my cousin. And after a couple of minutes, she said, Harry, I've got the perfect match for you. Her name is Goldie Digger. Describe Goldie Digger to me. And so she did, and after a couple of minutes, I had to ask, well, is she cute? Well, I think so. And she's got a neat personality. You've got to go out with her. Okay, so the date was set up. So I go over to her place, pick her up, and go to dinner with her. So as I approach the door opens up, and whew, let's just say my cousin and I have polar opposite definitions of what cute is. But trying to be open-minded, I figure after a couple beers I can learn to be progressive. Get to know her personality. So off we went to the restaurant, but before the food was served, Goldie had asked me a couple questions. Harry, in order for me to get to know a man, I've got to ask these personal, intimate questions. Okay, let's go and ask. Well, what do you do for a living? How much money do you make? Do you believe in life insurance before marriage? And if we were to get serious, are you willing to support me, my mother, father, brother, sister, and our 3 chihuahuas with skin condition? Check, please, now! So obviously it didn't work out well between me and Goldie, but that wasn't going to deter me from finding the perfect match. So I decided to try another method, and that was speed dating. For those of you who aren't familiar with speed dating, this is when a group of men and women get together, they talk to each other one-to-one at a table, and rotate after about 5 to 8 minutes on to the next person. So I've done this a few times, but nothing came up for the first 12 sessions. But on the 13th session, found the perfect match. Her name was Holly Heartbreaker. Holly Heartbreaker was great looking. We had a wonderful conversation. She laughed at my corny jokes. She didn't ask me about my financial net worth. So it just felt right. So we exchanged contact information right then and there. So the session ended. I drove back home. But I was so buzzed I had met her that I had to pull over and call her up. Holly, I got an idea for a first date. Why don't we go have a picnic in the park? So I left that on her voicemail. But still, ideas were popping out of my head. So I had to call her up by the time I got home. Holly, let's go to the beach. I can rub lotion on your back. So I left that on the message as well. But I couldn't get her out of my head that night. So I had to call her up again. Holly, got another idea. Why don't we go to the Hollywood Bowl for a go for a concert? It'd be a great day for a date. So I left that message as well. So I was surprised that by the following day, I hadn't heard from her. I had to call her up again. Holly, I haven't heard from you. Can you call me back, please? Still no response. But I thought I got a connection one time. The number you've dialed has been disconnected. If you've dialed in there, please call again. I don't know what happened to her. I think it could have been something I said. But still, I was determined to find the perfect match. And so I decided to try another method, and that was online dating. So I searched around for a website that I felt comfortable with. edesperate.com. So I filled out my profile. It buzzed a little bit. add about 100 grand to my salary, 5.5 inches to my height. Just happened to mention my Toastmasters trophies. So I figured those things couldn't hurt, right? So I submitted my profile, and I began my search for another perfect match. And I found one. Her name was Chris Dresser. Great in her pictures. Yeah, she had intelligent responses. We shared similar interests in terms of culture, travel, sports, such as oil wrestling. So we exchanged email messages and phone calls. She called back. So we set up a first date. She invited me over for dinner. So I went over to her place. Door opens up. And I thought, wow, what a tall, beautiful woman. So we had dinner, and then afterwards, she led me to the couch. She went back to get some drinks that she was experimenting with. So she comes back with a drink, sex on the couch, and said, "Here you go, big boy." Woo! Next thing you know, we're kissing and hugging each other, we get to know each other very intimately. But then all of a sudden, another woman pops out, and she says, "Christopher, didn't I tell you to not wear my clothes?" And then Chris says, "Mother, what are you doing back home so soon?" And then she walks over to Chris and pulls a wig off Chris's head. In that moment I realized, oh my God, my perfect state been a man! Those are the disconnections that explain why I'm still not married.